What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be rating an underused team by Wintermute0, and right now his team is Forretress, Mega Houndoom, Jellicent, Goodra, Pangoro, and Crobat. So right away I noticed that the goal of this team was to support Mega Houndoom, specifically the Nasty Plot Mega Houndoom set. Oh shit. Man, I have to read that again because you hear that crackling sound? It's my phone. Because I have it in my pocket when I'm recording. I figured out that that's what causes it. Whenever I have my phone around, when I'm rating teams, the mic like picks up on that, I guess. But whatever, we're gonna keep going with this rate. I'm not cutting that out, guys. Alright, so as I was saying, this team is centered around making Mega Houndoom work. And there's a couple things Mega Houndoom really needs to succeed in underused. It was once the kingpin of UU in early XY, but now it's kind of fallen from grace. However, I think we can make this work with a couple of changes and optimizations. So the first thing is that Mega Houndoom doesn't really appreciate special walls like Blissey or Snorlax, for example, and I realize you do have this Pangoro here to make that easier on Mega Houndoom. However, it doesn't really provide a whole lot of defensive synergy since Pangoro is also weak to fighting, and in general we got a new drop to underused, and that is Heracross. And another thing that Mega Houndoom doesn't appreciate is bulky water types like Suicune and Vaporeon. And guess what Suicune and Vaporeon like to use? They like to use Scald. And so this Pangoro has like a Lumberry, so I guess that kind of mitigates the threat of Scald. But why not just use Scald spam to your advantage and use Guts Heracross over Pangoro? Not only is it the more viable choice, but it offers more synergy with your team since it resists fighting, is faster, and does the same job that Pangoro did. Another thing Mega Houndoom just doesn't appreciate is Hydreigon. And you know, Jellicent's a cool Pokemon and all, but his viability in 6th gen has definitely dipped compared to last generation. And not to mention, it's pretty weak to Hydreigon, and looking at your team right now, you don't have a whole lot to take hits from it. I'm actually going to replace your bulky water type Jellicent with one that will provide a lot more synergy for your team and can take hits from Hydreigon, and that is especially defensive Vaporeon. Vaporeon is really excellent for this team because it can pass switches to Forretress, Goodra, Heracross, and even Mega Houndoom if it gets low on HP from switching into Stealth Rocks and such. So it's definitely an option to consider, and you can even use Ice Beam on Vaporeon to take care of Hydreigon and manage to damage it effectively. It won't solve the problem entirely, but I didn't want to make too many changes to your team. So the rest of my suggestions from here on are just minor set optimizations. And I'm going to start with your Forretress because I feel like your Forretress is you're expecting too much from your Forretress. You have Stealth Rock on it, and then you have Rapid Spin on it, and then you also have Spikes on it. So you're expecting this one Pokemon to get up all of its hazards and also Rapid Spin. More often than not, it's not going to do all three in one game. So right now, the least useful move on Forretress is actually Spikes. Your team doesn't really need a whole lot of Spike stacking to be effective. I think Stealth Rock alone is pretty nice for this team. So I'm actually going to suggest Gyro Ball over Spikes on this Forretress, especially because you have kind of a weakness to Mega Aerodactyl that I kind of opened by replacing your Jellicent with Vaporeon. So Gyro Ball will let you take on Mega Aerodactyl effectively without having to use Volt Switch. And along with that, you should probably change to a Relaxed Nature and 0 Speed IVs in order to do as much damage as possible with Gyro Ball. Along with that, Gyro Ball will also let you hit frail fighting types like Mienshao, which is another Pokemon that's not looking very friendly towards your team, and Alakazam, which can revenge kill a majority of your team. Your Goodra set is fine for the most part, but I feel like Muddy Water doesn't really hit a whole lot, and I can easily replace by Thunderbolt since you slashed it over here, and I would definitely recommend carrying Draco Meteor just for the extra firepower. Another move you can use in slot 4 is actually Dragon Tail to pseudo-haze out stuff like Crocoon, which can really be kind of bothersome for your team, even if you do have Heracross. So that's all I have for this team. Hopefully you find my advice useful, and hopefully I was able to optimize your team without making too many fundamental changes. I'm going to give this team a rate of 7 out of 10, and hopefully with my changes you'll definitely be getting the most out of your Mega Houndoom, and hopefully that'll be working for you in underused. As always, the description to the improved team is going to be in the description. And if you like this video or want your team to be rated, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe.